Hey everyone, welcome back to Return to 1K. Well, actually, this will be the last episode of that series, or at least this season of Return to 1K. Today's match is going to be this Tier 2 standard match on the map Last Vigil versus Rizukasa, who stole y'all comment from me. And it's going to be a Max versus Rachel match, so that should be the most part. Well, for the most part, this is going to be it's going to kind of be a bit of a, I guess a slaughter sort of. Well, you'd think it would be. But here's Last Vigil. It's, as you can see, it's a really small map, so Max, Sammy, and Tier 2, Max and Sammy are going to be really, really good. The other thing about this map is it's actually only got like, it's only got like 30 properties, so it's very low income as well, meaning COs with larger, well, more powerful, quote-unquote, CO powers scale a little bit less in this map. As you can see from just the win rates alone, Ego's got 34%. Well, that's mainly because it's so open and you can't stall out as much as you would want. And that's sort of why Olaf's down at 39% too, but it's also because there's just not enough income on this map for Olaf to really start to snowball, because his Winter Fury is going to be doing a lot less funds worth of damage, I guess. So that's why I picked Max. Well, mainly because he's got 56% win rate. Sammy's actually pretty good on this map as well, apparently, with a 55%, which is it's small, but it's almost a little bit too big, I would feel, to play Sammy, but meh. It's interesting. It's a question, but that question doesn't really matter as far as the tier list goes, because my opponent picked Rachel. Now, the interesting thing about Rachel, of course, is that her superpower is very good, so she's going to be spamming that against Max, but as much as she can. But just due to how low the income on this map is, she's going to be getting a lot less of that than she would want. This is not going to be a map in which you're going to be seeing all too much CO power popping, just because of how little, how much, I guess, just because there's not going to be that much money on the map. So that means CO powers are not going to charge up as fast and stuff like that. Actually, now that I think about it, the reason Sammy is pretty good is just because look at how open this HQ is, sort of. Like, it's not that open, but like, Sammy could easily, this is sort of a front line here, and the HQ is right next to the front line. So yeah, that's why Sammy's pretty good in this map. She could get some pretty good victory marches off, just because of how small and compact it is. And then Max is obviously good day-to-day due to his crazy firepower. So there's that, but and basically that's going to be the end-all be-all. I think I've gone over the Max Rachel matchup once before, actually. That was on Caustic though, so a little bit more infantry spam in that map. But anyways, let's go ahead and just get started with the replay. So yeah, as you can see, immediately going, actually, big misplay here, I failed. My opponent you should definitely go for your base as early as possible, especially on a low funds map like this, because you're not going to get enough money to start spamming vehicles out really early on anyways, so that's going to be important. Moving around, obviously, going for this turn 2 is interesting. And we'll see how much it pays off, but like, my opponent is already sacrificing that early, at least that early unit count for us. So, but you know what's funny is she actually had enough money to get a tank out super early on, like day 4. So I guess that might be worth it, but again, I'm not sure it really is going to end up mattering too much. So I'm going to be able to afford one as well. So, and I'm going to have a bunch of penguins as well. So as you can see, I'm already had an income and unit count due to that weird opening. I don't really like it. You should always definitely go for your bases first, obviously. So going in here early on is something that might have been okay, but like I don't know why, because the reason I put my penguin here instead of going for this capture here is mainly so that if he goes for the comm tower interrupt with his tank, I can attack from the city still. So I want to get this up as soon as possible, and Rachel isn't going to have, well, even with one comm tower, she's not going to be able to do like more than 5 damage here. Well, I say that. Okay. Well, I think the reason I went like this was, yeah, it's mainly because I don't want it. It's because I don't want to deal with the comm tower interrupt. This map, you're never going to be able to overwhelm this comm tower. You're just going to be able to delay it. At best case scenario, but she's going for the cap here and the attack there. Not sure why, though, because I can just move in and get a nice max first strike here. I think that's even, well, we'll see. It seems a little bit low on damage. Yeah. And that'll be because, well, it's not because of anything. I guess I just didn't get the high roll, but I definitely could have gotten it. And as you can see, Recon here doing very effective zoning. None of his infantry can really do anything against this earlier Recon over here. And on a map like this, where it's so spread out like this, investing only 4k in this area as opposed to a full 7k for a tank, when all you really need to do is spread out these zone out these infantry, makes the Recon an okay investment, especially on a lower income map like this where money's a bit tighter. Yeah. And especially if you aren't delaying the next tank. So my opponent is actually a little bit ahead in income right now. Obviously, but I am blocking him from moving in here with my return here. So that's at least 1k right away from that. So it's already paying dividends a little bit. Moving in like so, just completely wiping out the infantry as well. So that's not only 1k here, but maybe even a bunch of damage that I was saving from if you want to try and get the cap here. So not only is that preventing me from, not only is this Recon probably just paid for itself just by that move as well. The 1k there, and then the taking out that infantry there, because if that infantry even just goes for the cap here, it's going to be taking it would be taking a lot of funds away from me from by damaging this infantry here. So this Recon, I feel, has already paid for itself, and it's also diverting one of my opponent's tanks over here as well. So I'm weakening his tank forces in this area, making it easier for me to push over here. Finishing off his tank as well there, because he only has the one tank over here, so I can sort of move in here, sort of freely, but I'm also sort of keeping this guy back. and it's a racial tank, so it's never going to be able to take me out here. So I'll be able to take hold on to this tank, or even draw these infantry back and prevent them and get them off of these properties, which is what I want. Interrupting the cap here with the infantry. It's like sort of suboptimal, but it's whatever. So opponent's obviously moving in with the tank here. My tank actually, no wait, hold on. He's gonna move in with his other infantry, right? He should, yeah, he takes out my tank here, which is, it's kind of sad, but it's a tank for a tank overall, so I feel like it's an okay trade to take out that guy before he fully healed up with his weakened tank. Although, to be honest, it might not have been that worth it, because a 6 health tank, whatever. Maybe not my best play, but what? It could have been worse. Getting the interrupt here with this recon. This recon is just paying dividends this entire match, by the way. It's an excellent recon. Moving in here is good. And take out this infantry at least. I don't interrupt this guy, but I'm threatening the cap here. And I put a tank here just because he's got one in the area, so I want to be able to get him off of my infantry. Right now, his tank actually can't move in to threaten my infantry. That's the main reason I bought the tank, was so that he can't move in with his own tank. Gets the cap here. We're still just, like, tied in income for now. Although that may change fairly quickly. But we will see. Moving on to the city here is, I mean, it's fine. Just taking out his infantry like that. Moving in with the infantry here, and then moving in with the recon to finish off that infantry there, and getting on the city as well. And the reason why that it's important to have it on the city here like this is so that if he moves in with his tanks against me here, right now he can only attack with one here, but like if you moved in with the tank here, I can follow up with an attack from a tank here. Although I might not have the, well, we'll see what he does, depending on how he attacks here. I might not have too many attacks here. I go for another recon here. This recon, I mean, it's okay, but I feel like it might have been better to not build this one because he's got the tank in the area already. That'll probably cut it off, but I kind of wanted more vehicles to get to this front as soon as possible, was my thinking there, so I could push in. And max recons are very good. You just shred through infantry. As you can see here, he's not actually going for a push here, which is mainly what I wanted here. I've got 2 recons here actually now, which is, maybe I'm going a little bit heavy. But the funny thing about max recons is with the comm tower, they actually can theoretically one-shot enemy infantry on roads, which is just insane. There should probably gone in and finished him off maybe, but this way I'm opening myself up a little bit less. Getting the interrupt here and the cap here as well, and then going out to the forest so that he can't really move in it with his tanks that effectively. Join capping here, I think is fine, mainly because I wanted to get off of this, and full health infantry are always much better than a 6 and a 4. Well, not always, they can be good for other stuff, but I kind of wanted them to be at 10 health just so I can burn the cap here next turn. Getting the nice shot off with the artillery here, basically neutering my recon, so This recon wasn't nearly as effective as the other ones. Well, as the other one at least. Actually takes out my tank here, but I have enough stuff to just fall up here, but it doesn't really matter. Takes out my infantry there. I think this is a roll, probably. Let's see. Yeah, it's a roll. This is a bit of a ghost 7. I got probably have around, well, I don't know. I feel like it's going to be really close though, so that's fine. Taking out my infantry there as well, and then moving in and taking my recon over here. He's kind of overextending a little bit, so I'm able to take this, and then taking the income lead by that. Moving in there with the battlecopter as well, and doing a nice chunk of damage to the artillery here. Max's battlecopters are crazy good, and they get the extra movement from, unlike Jess, they get the extra movement from his powers, so I really, really like his battlecopters. Taking out the tank like that, taking out his other tank just like that, and then getting a little bit of damage off with recon and the infantry here, and then just walling off here. And then moving in with the tank here. I mean, it's going to be fine because I can just wall off with my infantry like that, and join capping anyways for the extra funds. That's the other thing about join camping, is they'll give your infantry they'll give you a little bit of money back. So I feel like it's worth it. Capping infantry is like one of the units that you can cap. You can join cap with a bunch just for extra funds. Since my recon is at like 1 health, I'm healing it for like at least a turn, because even a 3 health infantry recon is pretty good against enemy infantry, just because it won't die to them and it can do a good amount of damage to them, just for chipping and stuff. Falling back with his weakened infantry, actually falling back completely right there. Gets the covering fire off over here, which hurts, but doesn't hurt that badly, honestly. Could have been much worse. Interrupting my cap here is not nice, though. I don't like that. And then look at how much damage he did to my units in the center here. Like, I will say Rachel's superpower is super freaking annoying. And I didn't really expect her to get it here. Oh, wait, did I? I mean, I must have, but I guess I just miscalculated. I should have definitely built like a medium tank or something if I had the funds, which I don't think I actually did. That's the other thing that makes Rachel sort of okay on this map, is a lot of the time you're not actually going to have enough money to build a medium tank in order to draw her covering fire. So that actually does make Rachel pretty good on this map, now that I think about it. Only a 46% win rate though. But better than, honestly, if you were gonna go down a tier, I would say Rachel's probably the one CO that would be pretty good on this map. Just because of how low the income is. So I'm gonna click through these moves again real quick. But he sort of brought me in the center here, which is super annoying. I got that there, but I would like to interrupt it really badly. So getting the shot off there, getting the shot off there as well, and moving in and getting a nice shot off on the anti-air with the max superpower. Now, the anti-air is still going to be able to do a good chunk here, even without this. Like, that's how good anti-air are, is they're able to basically take half, even when they're below half health, they can take half the health off of the battlecopter just like that. So keep that in mind when you're dealing with anti-air. Even, like, a lot of times, just taking one hit for a tank. Well, I mean, if it was at full health, so like 10 into 10 here wouldn't be bad, but because I'm weakened, it just makes it a lot worse of an engagement. Because if I were able to put it down to like 2 health, as you can see, it does a lot less damage. And I still have like a half health battlecopter, which is still very good. Moving in there with my weakened recons here, trying to do some extra chip damage. Honestly, I mean, it's okay considering the fact that, like, what else am I going to do with these damage units? So I think it's fine. Just moving like that. I'm still pretty, like, even before building units this turn, I'm still ahead significantly in unit count. Of course, like, that's with a bunch of damage units. So as you can see, the value isn't, I'm falling kind of behind in value, but that was a bad engagement, though. Like, look at that. That's likely too. Even with the max superpower, it's not doing that much for you, which is kind of weird. It's mainly because she has her power activated as well, so it'll be doing a lot more here. Honestly, this push over here was probably not my best move. If I go back to the start of the turn, well, it's not this turn. It'll be this turn. But like, what I should have probably done was fall back a little bit to like this area instead of going. Oh wait, not this one. Here. Yeah, I should have probably done something like open up here with the backcopter onto here, swoop around with this guy. So I'll bet this into this. Well, maybe not. With the weakened one. But this guy, man, not even that. You know, I will say the extra 10% defense you get from just popping your powers is honestly like, so sometimes it's like half the reason why you want to pop it. But anyways, moving in with all of these units over here, but moving in with the infantry especially over here. I have all of this infantry here. I'm definitely gonna be able to take this property eventually. But I'm sort of sandwiching his tank in here, but like, and I'm making a push over here, but I'm taking a lot more losses than I probably should be. Yeah. And look at how much damage that does. Although I do get a little bit of damage off myself, so that's nice at least. Isn't able to take out my infantry there, which is I appreciate that. Manages to take out my poor recon there, but whatever. Gets me down to like just low enough health that he might actually interrupt the cap, which is super annoying. But at this point I've got the battlecopter here. That was a bad engagement. Doing some chip damage, as much chip damage as I can really over here. I guess to get the cap here because why not? But obviously I'm not going to be finishing these caps with these guys. I'm going for the cap here as well, just to try and pull his units and get them to commit to actions which aren't good. And then he actually freaking just... Oh yeah, well I didn't join cap. So that would be why he was able to just take me out like that. Takes out my weakened tanks, and then honestly, like, he's making a pretty good counter push here. Like, taking out my units here and then weakening my units here with her superpower was super good for her. But I am pushing back. And then I have another tank here because of this city is within striking distance of my base right here, so that's not bad. And then I'm actually able to hopefully prevent him from interrupting this cap next turn. Because what's he gonna do? Like, he could move it, attack my infantry with. If he wants to get through and interrupt his cap, he's gonna have to attack my infantry with his tank here, which is not only is it stopping him from getting the first strike on this guy, but it's also from the city like he would want to. But it's also keep putting him on either the shoal here, in which he has no defense, or the plains here, in which he has just one. So that would be very good for if he took an engagement to try and interrupt this cap. Actually, it would be pretty good for me. Goes for the far cap here to try and distract my units. But it's never gonna be, like, let's be real, he's never gonna be able to do that. Does the smart move here and doesn't actually try to contest that cap. And takes another health off of my tank here. And like, once your tanks get down to like 1 or 2 health, you may as well just use them as joint cap fodder, because we're not going to be able to do anything with that low health. And when you're playing against Rachel, it's oftentimes you do end up getting to that health. And she goes for the joint cap there on that, which is pretty smart actually. The 1 damage here is all she actually needed to prevent me from getting the cap this turn, and from using this as well, I could use it still, but I'm making gains over here with the continued tank pushes, knocking out his infantry as well, and then I get a max force off here. So there goes his anti-air. His battlecopter sort of is throwing me out in the center here, but I can just move in against the artillery and actually one-shot it. Like, this is what Max wants at all times, is to get full health, use his full health units with his power on against enemies on roads. Like, he's doing so good there. Interrupt the cap here, because I don't really want to invest too many resources over here against this guy. And then move in the infantry to interrupt again next turn. And do even more damage here with him. That one, I should have probably buffed on the city, because now he's going to be able to move in onto my city if he wants, and get that defensive terrain. But he actually takes it out with his infantry, and he gets another recovering fire off. Now this time I'm preparing it for it a little bit better, so I have my infantry block here to draw some of it, but this block over here took a lot of damage as well, which is very annoying. But I am drawing the fire away from this area. Like, I got the medium tank and none of her missiles hit it, which is kind of funny actually. Taking my infantry there and making sure I don't get the caps over here is sort of important for her as well. But like, I'm able to move in like that, move with the medium tank, and moving with his other tank as well. So like, I'm completely outgunning her over here. Get a shot off here on the infantry, because once your battlecopters go down to like below half health, they're basically just useful for harassing the infantry. Well, you can use them against tanks, I guess, too, but we're not going to do too much more damage than like a infantry would. Get a nice kill there on the tank. I think that I was really happy that that happened as well, because that way he's not going to heal it, and I'm not going to deal with that annoying nonsense anymore. And as you can see, I'm actually ahead at the start of this turn, quite significantly actually. So I'm doing pretty good after that second hovering fire. I'm adapting a little bit better to it. moving in with his battlecopter here and harassing me is very annoying because not only is he threatening all of my tanks and my medium tank especially here, but he's also sort of zoning out my battlecopter if I don't protect it properly. So that's really annoying for me. And then he's moving into the center with his other units foe, so he's not really pushing with that, which is fine. Got my 1 health battlecopter, which I'm probably going to use to like refuel or restock with ammo at some point. I've got my recon here, but it's not really doing much right now. And then I've got my battlecopter here sort of protecting most of my units here, while staying out of his battlecopter's range. Then I've got the anti-air here to start dealing with his battlecopters, which he's starting to spam out a little bit. Still slightly ahead this turn. But he's actually able to move in here and take out that tank. And actually start trying to go for the cap here, but he's only got 8 health on vet infantry, which is going to be the best. He's actually getting this cap for sure, so that would actually even up the income, and that would... Honestly, like, Rachel's covering fire is just so freaking annoying when she gets off a good one. I'm actually able to move in here. I don't know. I don't think that was the best move. It's maybe okay, but like I've got the medium tank on the road next to 2 battlecopters, and I got the tank next to this city here. I don't know if I like that move. But I need to start pushing somewhere, so I guess it's here. It's like a pretty good spot, I guess. Is my everything. I've got the recon here as well to try and harass his infantry a little bit. It's actually moving into running a cap on my comm power, but that's definitely overextending on this map. Like, I don't think you should ever go for this cap. Maybe here is fine. But like, yeah, I don't know about this one. And then he's basically grouping up his units over here. He actually is not going for... Well, actually I have my anti-air in the area and I have an extra battlecopter here, so I think my medium tank was pretty safe, actually, all things considered. Now that I look at it again. I used his infantry off of there nice and easily. I'm blocking with my battlecopter here as well. So that's funny. When I'm moving in here with the medium tank, it's just out of range of hers and she doesn't have movement boost, so the only thing that she can really do is move in with her anti-air, I guess, but I'm in her battlecopters, I guess, but I've got anti-air and battlecopter range anyways, so far so good. Moving in, just trying to push here a little bit. Oh, I guess it's her job now. I'm going for another recon here, just because I don't have that much money left, and because I want another anti-air here to protect these guys. So he's actually moving me in for a push on this property, it looks like, now. Where he should probably be trying to push against my units in the center. But oh well. Now I move in and do a bit of a counter push here, actually starting the cap here. Taking out his infantry here and staying... Well, actually... Moving with the battlecopter to... She's just out of range of his battlecopter and prevents his medium tank from getting a nice first strike on mine on roads. So from the city here as well, which would have been really nasty. And I'm also preventing his anti-air from heading over this way to take out my battlecopter. So that was a really fancy move on my part. I think this turn was definitely the turn in which I basically secured the win. Just from that move alone. This battlecopter and medium tank move. You will see how it goes. We are tied on income right now, but like I've got at least one. Well, I don't know if they're secure. He actually takes out my recon entirely here, but all he's got in the area is damaged infantry now, so I'm not really worried about him capping this property for right now. Moving in with the medium tank here, actually basically taking out my infantry, but like And it's out of range of my battlecopter, but I can definitely build stuff here if I want to. So it takes out. He interrupts one of my caps here. Not going for both because that would have been really bad for him. Immediately popping my power here so that I can take out his tank. Get a nice shot off on his medium tank with the extra movement. Getting damage on off on it as well. Basically, I think the turn that I think that the turn on last turn when I moved in with my medium tank, I basically decided that I'm going for the HQ cap. So what I'm doing with these units here is just delaying his units here as best as I can in order to prevent him from getting the HQ cap against me while I rush for it. Maybe I should have left the medium tank more alive because that's actually allowing her to charge up her meter faster, but we'll see if I'm able to correctly deal with that. Moving in here, and finally taking out the tank. Yeah, tank. I'm gonna be able to get this cap next turn as well, anyway, so that's fine. Nice shot off here. Moving in the anti-air here. This guy, I probably should have moved in against the battlecopter, but this also works, I guess. Because this way, he's not going to really have to be able to do much with his infantry, but I definitely feel like I might have wanted... I don't know. I feel like battlecopter onto battlecopter on airport, it's like not bad. Oh. No, I definitely should have done. Okay, if I were playing anyone other than Max, well, even Andy. No, I definitely should have. Just because of how much battlecopters do against each other, it's kind of crazy. Although I feel like that's more than it should be. Let me check. Let me check damage chart. Battlecopter versus battlecopter is 65. Oh, with luck. That's with luck. That would be all. With the comm tower and luck, that makes sense. Anyways, so moving in here, he gets the nice shot off here. Oh, I keep on. This guy's dead for sure, by the way. Gets the covering fire off, and that looks pretty brutal for my push here, honestly. But I have a bunch of infantry backing up still, so it's actually less bad than you might think. But he is actually able to start moving in on the HQ cabin. Like here, all his infantry are weakened anyways, though, so probably not the best for him. But being able to move in here, take out his battlecopter, get some damage off. But I've got more battlecopters in here to sort of threaten this area. Moving in with tanks and stuff. I have enough healthy units here to actually do a lot. I'm gonna move in with this guy to sort of block off this airport so that he can't reinforce with battlecopters if you wanted to. Then I move in onto here rather than attacking so that he is sort of making it exposed here. But I build the bomber here because honestly it's like pretty good. I can harass his medium tank, fairly easily, sort of forcing him to move his anti-air up this way, which max bomber into racial anti-air is actually going to be doing a lot. Yeah. So like with the power, it's basically a guaranteed kill, even on cities. So yeah. He's going to make a pretty good effort here on the push here as well, getting a 5 health and then joining to 8. It's not going to be enough, really. I mean, maybe. We'll see. move in here with a bomber, take out his tank, so that I can get a shot off of there. And then, because they only did 5 last turn, I don't actually care about interrupting this turn as much, so I don't think I actually attacked this turn. And I got the guaranteed cap here anyways, so it's fine. And he just resigns because there's no way he's going to be able to get through here at this point. Had he built like an anti-air or something, I mean an artillery here, I still would have been able to overwhelm it with all my units that I have here anyways. So yeah, as you can see here, that front switch with the medium tank and the battlecopter was definitely what secured me the win. I feel like I might have done a bit too much recon spam this map. That first recon I feel like was worth it, but the rest of them, I feel like they definitely didn't really pay for themselves. But they might have been good for just like delaying and drawing out his tanks if I really wanted to look into them, but honestly probably should have saved up a little bit more money because recon do cost a good amount. So you have to be very specific about where to use them in standard. Even with Max and his crazy fireball against infantry. But yeah, this was a bit of a slugfest for a while, until the end there, in which I just went fucking and charged his HQ, and that's sort of what you want to do on this map. I feel is aim up for a pretty good HQ push, and then push in, because really once you get up in his HQ, he's only got one base here, which is across from a river, and then an airport, which can easily be cut off with like just one unit. Even one health tank like this can cut off his air reinforcements. So really, he's just protecting against your HQ push with one base, assuming you're able to overwhelm his units in this area properly. So there's that. The other thing that's really important is like taking off even like 1 or 2 health from an infantry is crazy good for capping because it prevents from doing that. Like, because I was able to, I was not worried at all about his HQ cap, him threatening me with an HQ cap, because he had so few full health infantry here. He didn't join cap them enough actually either, I feel. Because I feel like infantry are one of the few units where you generally want to join cap them, even if it's like just a couple, especially if there's a lot of vehicles in the area as well. But like a 10 health infantry is just infinitely more valuable than a 9 health infantry, just because it lowers the HQ capping threshold, the amount of turns it takes you to HQ cap from 3 to 2. It's so important to have full health infantry. But yeah, that's actually it. That'll be it for this season, actually. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. That's the right one. Okay. So I've got keybinds set up for recordings. So yeah, that's the last episode of this season. Not exactly sure which of these. I'm definitely going to do this 1v1 Marn map eventually. So it's going to be either this one or maybe another Vadoom one against Sammy. Or maybe both, or kind of both best. So that'll be my next episode in the first episode of Season 3 of, I guess it'll be Road to 1100 at that point. But that might be a little while. I might take a week off. I've got an idea for something else that might be coming as well, and I've got to do some design of a new thumbnail and everything. So it might be a little bit. It might be like a couple weeks before the next episode of before I start season 3. But you can look forward to the 1v1 Marn thing is definitely something I want to cover for sure. Like, it's one of the few maps that I know for certain that Sturm is really good at. But you can look forward to that. Otherwise, I guess, like, subscribe, and all that nonsense. And I will see you next time for the first episode of Season 3. So, see you guys then.